Good morning and good afternoon to some. Well, if you saw the thumbnail and follow me on social media, especially X, I have a very special guest, Paul Allen, on the show today. It's much appreciated. There you go, Paul. How you doing today, man?
My man, nice to meet you. Where are you located? Because here in Minnesota, we're like sneaking up on 40 and everything's starting to melt and it's getting all slushy and awkward and everything. Then
Mhm.
then you know it's going to freeze and then it's going to be icy. So that's our lot in life. Are you in Minnesota?
No, I'm actually in California, in Southern California, um, big county called San Bernardino, and
Oh
we
yeah.
just got a lot of rain right now, but
Hmm.
it's hot out here.
Is it really?
Yeah, it's getting hot. So
Yeah, I went to Glendora High School, right at the intersection of 57 and 210 and Pasadena City College. So with San Bernardino, when you say that, if new schoolers who like music, if they Google something called the US Festival,
okay.
US Festival, I mean, all the biggest bands that were hot back in the 80s when I went to high school. I went to Glen Helen Regional Park, maybe in San Bernardino,
It's right around the corner from me.
and saw two of the 3 days of shows. So I'm quite familiar with negotiating the 10 out San Bernardino way on the way to Las Vegas. Yeah, man, it's congratulations. You got that nice warm weather. The rain's going to go away,
Yeah,
and here we are trying to get through this slush.
yeah. It's Glen Helen is like right around the corner from me. It's like when I get off on the exit to go home, it's either you go left or you go right, and you're in Glen Helen Park. So yeah,
Oh,
that's
okay.
right there. Yeah, that's right
Yeah,
there.
it was the US Festival, and like a band called The Police, they played Van Halen. I mean, back in the 80s, it was just for old people like me, it was just the biggest of the biggest over 3 days. So I'm very familiar with San Bernardino. When I played basketball and tennis at Glendora High School, we played Rubidoux out that way. There was
Yeah,
a high school called Rubidoux, Claremont, which is not quite that far, Upton, I believe.
yep,
Don Lugo, schools relatively close to you.
yep. Right there, right there. Yeah, it's a small world, man. You think like the world is like so huge, but it's really a small world. Like my daughter, my oldest daughter, she goes to school at Cajon High School, which is
Oh
crazy
yeah.
because that's where Jaden Daniels came from. And
Wow.
yeah, yeah, they actually named the stadium after him. It's Jaden Daniels
Wow.
Stadium, and we were able to go to the parade he had when he won the Heisman. And
Mm.
my daughter was actually friends with one of his cousins. It's small world, small world.
Well, it's interesting you say that, and you mentioned Jaden Daniels because I'm thinking about the Thursday 9 to noon show on KFan, the radio station for which I work, the flagship for Vikings football. And Jaden Daniels, on my drive home from the show today, I was thinking about Jaden and some things that went wrong with him last year. And the reason I thought of that is because there are, I think, unless I missed something, 7 coaching openings right now. But
Mhm.
it's strange in that a lot of coordinators have been fired. And when I
Right.
say a lot, I mean, like if it's a handful, your guy John Morton in Detroit. I mean, it's tough sledding trying to fill in for Ben Johnson. Dan Campbell took the play calling from him after they lost to the Vikings at Ford Field. Now he's out. You got both coordinators in Washington out. You got stuff going on in Miami.
Mhm.
And so I was thinking of Jaden because if and or when we talk about JJ McCarthy here, but tomorrow or Friday for my radio show, I'm kind of thinking like if I put together a coach's reel of like clips of, hey JJ, um, take a look at this guy do this, take a
Right.
look at this guy do that. Jaden Daniels, Kyler Murray. All right, you're not as big as Jaden, so maybe Jaden can get away with some stuff like this, but you might want to think about sliding. Kyler Murray,
Mhm.
elite runner when he's healthy, but he's slight of frame. And if he gets hit the wrong way, he either leaves the game or misses games. So Jaden Daniels actually is a big part of that conversation. I'm glad you brought up the name.
Yeah, yeah, and his injuries this season, especially the elbow one, you know, you can tell like he was trying to go down, but
Yeah.
he got turned around a little bit, and his elbow got torn up, and it's like
Yeah.
with Jaden being so close,
He's the bomb.
we watch a lot of the games, and we tune in, but it's Vikings first, so
Yeah.
yeah.
No, he's the bomb. When he came to US Bank Stadium, that Washington defense, I mean, Bobby Wagner and Von Miller are both going to the Hall of Fame.
To Hall of Fame.
But they're both 35, 36, 37, something like that. And I mean, it was an old defense. And at that stage, they were giving up like 390 a game near the bottom of the league. I think they finished at the bottom. And then Jaden comes back from the elbow. And, the defense, I think the Vikings scored 31 on him and shut him out. But Jaden, that's a tough ask to come off a layoff and catch that Flores defense right when it's red hot.
Right when it's getting hot, yeah.
And then Mariota came into the game after him when he got knocked out, sadly. I'm a Jaden Daniels fan, man. Always have been.
Okay. So how are you feeling about this season? I know for me, like I flew out there, me and the wife flew out to Minnesota to be, a part of this thing called Skol Fest that a lot of Vikings content creators do for the first game of the season. And, we were hyped, we want to see McCarthy, especially coming off to the first game with the Chicago Bears, where on Monday night where they came out with the win. And I was just like, oh man, we're going to the playoffs. This is going to be a good season. We actually bought tickets for the Charger game, which was lucky for us. I had 2 years back to back where they came to LA, and I can just say, hey, I'm going home. I'm going to go see my guys. But it was disappointing. I mean, I listened to your show, and you were talking about, you really can't have the McCarthy situation where he plays good, is out, plays good, is out. And I just like, and that's one thing like I try to do on my channel, and I try to do like tell people like we have to start separating the emotion from patience. And what I mean by that is it's like, yeah, we might want these guys to come out there and hit the ground running and and be okay. Like we're not going to get a Jaden Daniels every time, and I understand the process. It's just like with your situation and being close to the team, like could you like kind of like tell fans like the disconnect like of being so emotional and is like being like, oh, we gotta fire everybody gotta go, and it's just like, yeah, but we can't do that all the time.
Yeah, but see, I mean, it's cliche to put it this way, David, but I mean, fans are going to fan. And that's part of the beauty of people tuning in to watch this live stream right now, listening to my 9 to noon show, listening to the games on the radio, is Vikings football is a very important distraction for a lot of people's lives, not only here, but out San Bernardino way, all around the world. So they legitimately care about it. And I respect that, and I love that. You're right. When things don't go the way you felt they should go, well, now it's this guy needs to be fired, this guy needs to be replaced, this guy. Yeah, I agree with you. And that does have some emotion to it. For me, kind of emotional by nature. I battle that with McCarthy. All right. Now here's why. Is I have a 22-year-old daughter. Okay. She's set to be 23 here in a few weeks. She's 10 days older than JJ McCarthy. From the first minute I met JJ McCarthy, I just kind of felt like a surrogate family member to him. He's extremely likable. He has just a boyish charm to him that's authentic. And I find myself pulling for him, of course, because he's Vikings quarterback. So I've gotten to know JJ quite well over the last year and change, and a lot last year through the chapel program we have with the Vikings, a pregame sideline prayer, stuff like that, or just little chats on the side before or after practice. And I adore him. I mean, I want him to win so badly, man. But from the emotional standpoint, like a fan, because I am a fan, even though I'm the announcer, I can't let it cloud what I and all of us just saw.
Right.
And you hit the A topic, man. I mean, we can talk about, he's overthrowing people like Josh Freeman early in the season, had the pick six to Nashawn Wright week 1, failed to score a touchdown at home for several games. That Falcons game you're talking about with the Skol Fest, that was a tough one, man. Offensively, it was tough to follow. But then, up to that Packers game at the end, he went 3-0 in those 3 starts up to the Packers game. And his completion percentage was 66. His yards per attempt was 8.5. That's important, man. 8.5 is a good number.
Yeah.
7 touchdowns, 2 picks. So, yes, we did see the improvement, and that is part of the context. But you hit the A topic. And the way I put it 9 to noon, or when I talk to people about it, is play, leave, play, leave, play,
Right.
leave, play, leave. And, it's whether they want to look at it as a problem or not, that's up to them.
Mhm.
And they know a lot more about it than you and I. I'm talking
Right.
about those inside the building, as they say. But this goes back to his first game against the Raiders, where if you believe Sam Darnold was going to start week 1 against the Giants 2024, and that was the right answer, McCarthy wasn't going to start that game. But still, he comes out, sells some hope in that Raiders preseason game with, I think, Tristan Jackson and some other people. And well, then he's gone. It's
gone.
like, and people didn't know like when or how or what, or you didn't get any confirmation on that. And well, he's gone, but he's gone for the whole year. So there was that to start it. And then you get a rough 3 quarters against the Bears, and then he steals the show and wins the game. So he has this to him, and everybody knows he does. But the play leave thing, man, I feel comfortable. Like if I was JJ talking to you right now, it's like that has to end. I mean, just the fluke nature of these injuries has to end if he's going to make it long term in the NFL.
Yeah, and that's the thing though too. It's like the best ability is availability. I mean, I'm not sure who said it. You can't make the club in the tub.
Club in the tub,
right?
I love that.
Like I understand it and I get it. Like I even made a video about it before of me like being too patient, like to a fault, because as a Viking fans, like we're always in search of our guy. Like our guy we drafted. We want him to succeed, and it's like okay, we've done it multiple times with bringing in Brett Favre for a couple of seasons, the Kirk Cousins situation. I mean, Sam Darnold for 1 year. Like I know Viking fans out there is just yearning for just to have their one guy, so I get it, but I do understand it, from your standpoint of saying like start, stop.
But David, when you take that emotional topic you brought up, all right, so we got fans are going to fan. You got the announcer and Skol State of Mind, where we follow it super closely. You do this podcast on it. I call the games, talk about it on KFan. All right, so that's a different group. But then you get the group inside the building, the general manager, the head coach, the quarterback's coach. I mean, everybody who was looking at him or Bo Nix or trying to give up everything to move up or whatever, and they decided to take McCarthy. Well, you also can't be emotional there and be like, well, we have to make this work. I mean, he was 10th overall pick in the draft, and we have to make this work. It's not that either, because it wasn't the improvement was so precipitous and so evident even to the casual fan that you have something with which you can win. We just have to wait. David and I and tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of Vikings fans mostly are willing to wait. But the buzzkill here, man, is when you get going, it's like, hey, here we go. Beat the Lions at Ford Field. Are you kidding me? That was fantastic. Except for the 9 crap after the game. That was fantastic. Oh wow, wait, he's out again? So I mean, I'm preaching to the choir here. This is super low-hanging, obvious stuff we're talking about. But I just want this kid, I just want JJ McCarthy to succeed and lead this team as a franchise quarterback so badly that I'm firmly in his corner, and I'm going to support him until it's absolutely evident and obvious that this just ain't going to be it.
Yeah, me too. I'm in the same boat. I'm going to keep supporting him, regardless of
he
what
can
they
play.
do. Yeah, he can play. You see something there, and it's like regardless of what they do in the offseason or
and it was kind of pissing me off a little bit this week when he checked out of the border battle, out of the Green Bay game with the hand. All right, he tapped out. I mean, as former athletes or current athletes, don't really like seeing when somebody's like, "Hey, come get me." Okay, so especially in football, violent game, tough guy game, then people will kind of question your toughness a little bit. Okay, that's so stupid, man. Because A, that hand was a problem into the game, and he pushed through it and played. But like I said on my radio show today, David, if you want to question JJ McCarthy's toughness, why don't you go ask Keyshawn Nixon how it felt to get trucked right in front of his head coach?
Mm-hmm.
And it wasn't JJ who went back, it was K9 guy who went back. So JJ's a tough, hockey raised kid. We just got to keep him in one piece.
Yeah, that's the whole thing of him just staying healthy, you know, and
Yes, sir. That's part of it.
that's part of it. That's part of
Yeah,
it. You know, he has
that's the
to
biggest one.
he has to make the progressions, you know, when he's healthy. But I do believe like when he's healthy, he's going to be able to make the progressions.
Yeah.
You know, I'm just being real patient.
If you really want to get in the weeds here, man, like in the Packers game, the throw down to about the 5 to tight end Ben Sims, we could take that.
Oh God, yeah.
Sunday night game at Dallas, Hawkinson and Oliver both for 18. We'll take that.
Mm-hmm.
He had some Jefferson and Addison throws this year outside the numbers by the sideline. We'll take that too. What's the common thread here? None of them were in the middle of the field. Oliver at Dallas kind of was. So where do you take that to? O'Connell is a limb on the McVay tree.
Right.
And everybody in the game knows that McVay and his people are elite at attacking middle zones and middle part of the field and getting big time runs after catch. Now, when you attack the middle of the field, that's where it gets sneaky. That's where dropping linebackers hide. That's where good safeties like Branch and Kirby Joseph and others suck you into things. So they kind of stayed away from the middle of the field with McCarthy a little too much for my liking. Discretion is the better part of valor, so he's just probably not ready to expand that part of the tree. But you know, along with staying healthy and playing, I don't know, 10 games in a row and attacking that middle of the field with Jefferson and Addison, man, they are so good in the middle of the field, especially Justin, who makes people miss after he catches it.
Yeah.
So that, you know, that's what's next for next year, what I'm looking for.
Yeah, me too. I'm looking for a lot of growth, you know, and even on both sides of the ball. And I know the big talker point too is Brian Flores right now. What's going to happen with Brian Flores? And, you know, is he going to stay? Is he going to go here? Is he going to take a lot of remove? How I look at it, Paul, is like this. Brian Flores is a great coach. We've seen that. He's came in here and he fixed his defense. His defense has been a top defense every year he's been here. And I'm not saying like, oh, he should leave, but I kind of understand it if he does, because he wants to be the top guy. You know, like it's inevitable. I just think, you know, just like you said on your show, like we kind of squandered off a top defense that should be in the playoffs this year that could do some damage, you know, but I'm happy for Flores. He repaired the image with the whole, you know, lawsuit situation and whatever happened in Miami. But sometimes, you know, things come to an end, and it might not. We don't know yet. But after me, for Brian Flores, man, if he goes, I wish him the best. Just
well,
at the division.
I mean, if we were going to bet on this, up until about 2, 3, 4 days ago, yeah, I would have bet a substantial amount of money that Brian Flores will be the defensive coordinator for the Vikings in 2026. Then they offed your guy Pete Carroll in Vegas.
Right.
Now, I don't know what Pete makes, but you can, you know, it's hard to find what coaches make in like their years and stuff. But some pretty credible reports had him at 3 years and 45 million. So just consider this, okay? Culture is a big word you hear a lot with Kwesi Adolfo-Mensah and Kevin O'Connell, okay? And, you know, when you start hearing culture, it can be so trite and overused this day and age that it's kind of lost its zing with me.
Me too.
But not here, not with this team. I mean, I'm not going to go too far down the road on this, but at the end of the 2021 season, I didn't really have any desire to call Vikings games anymore. There were just things. I'm not a team employee either. I just had gotten 20 years in. I called a couple of Wild games. I wanted to try some Timberwolves games. I love the NBA. And, you know, I was just for certain reasons, I was just kind of ready to move on a little bit. Well, then the Kwesi and Kevin O'Connell group came in, and it just, the culture term and vibe and aura with the Minnesota Vikings is 10 of 10 real. And why I bring it up is because I'm gonna get to the Raiders here momentarily, but like when Devin Duvernay had that kick return against us, and then Cairo Santos walks off at US Bank Stadium this year. I mean, we're that close to sweeping the best team in the NFC North. And that for me was the bam. Okay, I don't care if you're 7% to get to the playoffs, 15, or I don't care. It's not going to happen this year. And I just have to reserve my thoughts that it's a super long shot. I'm racetrack raised, so I'm bred to support long shots, but I just didn't feel it. And when you don't think you're going to make the playoffs and you have 3 major holidays in front of you, Thanksgiving, Christmas, and New Year's Day, that ain't good. So I started to look at it like, you know what? These final X amount of games, these are human nature games. Because the last thing a lot of these guys want to do is rehab in the offseason. When they make all their money during the season, they don't have any time to spend it because they're at the facility or studying or rehabbing or whatever. Season ends, fat stacks of cash and plenty of time. So the last thing they want to do is like rehab in the offseason. So when I say human nature games, who's trying hard and who's not? That was zero problem with the 2025 Minnesota Vikings, especially on the defense. Everybody really. I mean, through 24, 25 different offensive line combinations, you got Ryan Kelly begging to come back despite 10 concussions to play.
Right.
You got Brian O'Neill warming up 2.5 hours before every game to push through something because he wants to play that badly in a non-playoff year. That's culture. And the culture with the Minnesota Vikings, when it comes to handling prosperity, which would be 2022 and 2024, how they handled things, they handled it with humility, and how you handle despair. And they've handled that well too. And everybody tried hard at the end of the year. That's A plus, because in several places that is not the case. And I've seen it before, and I even saw it a little bit this year with a team or two. So now you fast forward to the Las Vegas Raiders. I mean, if you're bringing a coach in and giving him $45 million and you're so done with it at the end of 1 year that you're just willing to be like, yep, 30 million, here you go.
Yeah.
Is that good culture? I mean, Las Vegas in its own right, is it possible to have 10 of 10 culture in that city? So I don't know, man. I like Brian a lot. He's just a very deep thinking. He's a wonderful, wonderful man. It's been an honor to get to know him. I really hope he stays. But I mean, if he takes that Las Vegas Raiders head coaching job, that really, in my opinion, would personify you got to take them when they offer them to you because they're really hard to find.
Right.
And I would agree with that. I would agree with that. It would be a hit here for sure. They'd fix it somehow. But the culture here is good, man. And that's sustainable. A lot of people make a lot of money off of it. And you just got to be careful when you leave something like that where you go.
Yeah, and that's the thing too. Like I see a lot of coaches just following the NFL too, to where just like you said, when they get offered that position, they get it, and then things don't work out because hey, I feel like we have a quarterback problem in this league with quarterback development. I mean, we can see it.
I like that.
We'll talk about that a little bit later. But you go there, and things don't pan out, and let's say you're gone in 2 seasons, and you're right back to where you are. And I think Brian, for like I don't know him personally, but just watching his interviews and watching his demeanor, he seems like a really smart guy and really calculated. So I feel like for him to go anywhere, he's going to be real picky and meticulous the way he wants to go, because as a head coach, like he wants longevity. I mean, we just saw Harbaugh gets fired and he was there 18 years, and it's just like you have to be able to, just like you said, with the culture with the Minnesota Vikings, with that Kevin O'Connell and Kwesi has brought, like you have to be able to do that. And I don't want that for Flores.
I don't either.
I really don't.
Yeah. Brian's one of the most cold-blooded people that I've come across in my quarter century calling games for them. He's cold-blooded. He's quiet about it. He's calculated. You never hear him on a Tuesday press conference after, holding somebody down or shutting them out on a Sunday, bragging, or, he's a very humble man that way. I don't know how he does it. I don't know how he changes that thing every single week, but Van Ginkel, Grenard, Harrison Smith, Blake Cashman, Eric Wilson, Isaiah Rodgers. I mean, you got guys, when they're in lockstep with what he wants, you better hide the women and children, because until you figure it out, he's going to ruin the entire household.
Yeah, yeah, and just like I said about the development of quarterbacks, like I don't know how you feel about it, but I just look at the overall NFL situation, and I just say, like, man, the pool of getting quarterbacks, having them come in, it's kind of hit or miss, and it's I just look at it as it's getting worse, man. Like,
But
I
what do
don't
you mean?
like with the with quarterbacks are not being able to be patient so much. It's like how we
Oh,
got
yeah.
the situation.
Organizations with quarterbacks.
Organization, yeah,
Yeah.
with quarterbacks, it's like, yeah, you drafted a guy first overall or top 10 in the draft, but then you don't even wait for him to develop. It's like 2 years in, just like you said with McCarthy, 22, but
Yeah.
he's already out the door, and that's just something like,
He ain't out the door.
yeah,
No, he's not out the door. I
no,
mean, I mean, and honestly, with all due respect, shame on the Minnesota Vikings. If and they know more about it than us, man.
right,
But from what we saw and what we know the investment is, shame on anybody who quits on somebody because
right,
it wasn't the way you wanted it to be at age 22. So
hmm,
now, again, another full off season. Offensive line, they may need a new center. And hopefully the concussions for Ryan Kelly work out okay, man, because those are scary. But, Darisaw will be completely healed. It's not going to be any of this, 20 play out. I don't know what it was, man, but it ended up on
yeah,
IR. Christian's the bomb. I mean, he's one of the three best left tackles in the NFL. O'Neal had one of his best seasons ever. Will Fries, there were some problems with Will at times. I'm not trying to make him sound like Steve Hutchinson or Randall McDaniel or anything, but he played all 17 games. I mean, seriously, like you said, you can't make the club in the tub while every offensive lineman forever is getting hurt. Well,
mhm,
here he is every single game, just helping the team every game. I love Will Fries. Donovan in year two. So that's going to help McCarthy. You're still going to have Jefferson and Addison. And you're going to have a lot of draft picks. So, yeah, nobody's giving up. And I don't like to speak for the team. I'd be shocked if I'm on my radio show earlier this week. I'm like handling this conversation. I'm like, well, I make JJ McCarthy a prohibitive favorite to start week 1 next year if he's healthy, like almost 2-1. Now if there's a huge trade I don't see coming or an injury in the offseason, okay, well, that changes the whole thing. But ain't nobody giving up on JJ
yeah.
McCarthy.
Yeah, I'm not giving them. What I meant was like other organizations, they just give up so fast. Like you,
Yeah.
you see it, and I just want patience and when to tie them to B flow.
Yeah.
I
Look
don't
at
want
Baker.
exactly Sam
Seriously.
Darnold.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah. Okay. But I mean, with Baker, all right, Kevin Stefanski, formerly the coach of the Browns, probably the best friend I've ever had in football. I started in '02. He got here in '06 with Childress. And his father, Ed, was the general manager of maybe the New Jersey Nets at that time or the Toronto Raptors, one of the two. And I grew up in Washington, D.C., big Washington Bullets fan. Then I moved to Los Angeles and played basketball in high school and junior college at Pasadena City College, right when it was Magic and Bird. All
mm,
right. So, yeah, I love the NBA. So Kevin and I meet, and he tells me his father's the GM for a team. So, boom, we immediately hit it off. And Kevin's phenomenal as a coach and as a person. But after the Vikings lost to the 49ers after the 2019 season to end the playoffs, they go down to New Orleans. Zimmer puts Everson and Daniil inside, and it totally threw off the Saints and Breeze. And then Cousins hits Thielen late right and wins it back left of the end zone with Rudolph. So they win that playoff game. Then they go to the 49ers. They get trucked
yeah,
by Tevin Coleman and Raheem Mostert and Matt Breida and stuff like that. All right, so they're done. Well, when we got back to Twin Cities Orthopedics Performance Center, I don't know, 4 a.m, something like that, and I'm walking to my car and I'm walking with Kevin, and he tells me that he's leaving for the Cleveland Browns. Like, whoa, hey, first thing I said was, really, with Baker? I mean, really, with Baker? Baker at that time.
right.
And
Not this
Kevin was
Baker.
like, yeah, I mean, when they're available, you got to take them. Well, it may not have been great with him and Baker eventually left there. But look at Baker turn his whole thing around. It took a little longer than you want. Baker Mayfield's the perfect example of what you said. Then Sam Darnold is part of that fishbowl, but it's under a different rock because you're not the third overall pick in the draft if you don't have talent. And when Darnold was signed here, the narrative with a lot of fans and some media members was, yeah.
Right.
Didn't you see the pick sixes with the Jets and Carolina and all that? I'm like, yeah, I mean, but if you think throwing to Robbie Anderson and tight end Ian Thomas is throwing to Justin Jefferson and Hawkinson and Addison, you're out of your mind.
Right.
And, Matt Rule in Carolina doing that college thing, holding up the sign with like Kendrick Lamar here and Adrian Barbeau here and Ronald McDonald here and some color up here doing that college thing in the NFL on the sideline just didn't work. So he was in a bad spot there. Then he gets into the O'Connell covenant with Josh McCown and Wes Phillips, the offensive coordinator. The name I stumbled on was Grant Udinsky, who ended up being the offensive coordinator for the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Yeah.
So he came into a great situation. He came through with it until that Lions game, so that you got to be patient, like you said.
Right. So I've been wanting to ask you this too, though. Like, what is one of your biggest calls announced? Because I'll tell you my most disappointing call announced, and I have a
okay,
like
my favorite calls that I've made on the radio.
Right, favorite calls.
That's always a difficult question for me to answer, simply because beauty is in the ear of the beholder. I know when certain calls are put in front of me, if I'm doing a speaking engagement or something like that, I know the ones that I like, and the only way to put it is this way: is God wired me for big pressure filled moments in situations that really matter. And like the Minneapolis Miracle, 09 with Favre, 03 McCown to Poole. There've been some other ones, and I'm thankful that he did wire me that way, which means the offense that we just had 2024 is antithetical to really what I just said, how I feel I'm wired. But for me, in 2009, in week number 3, the fact that somehow I knew Greg Lewis was in the game. Nobody knew he was on the team. I did, but I know he was in the game. And Favre hits Lewis back right of the end zone to beat Mike Singletary's rough and tumble San Francisco 49ers team. That's one that sticks with me forever. That game-winning Favre to Greg Lewis at Metrodome. What about you?
Okay, so one that's disappointing to me is not you, it's just me being a Viking fan. The Minnesota Miracle, right? So I was real hyped that season. I'm like, yeah, we're gonna get it. Hey, our guys are gonna actually get the Super Bowl. And during that game was kind of up and down. So the last play of the game, I walked out the room because I'm in disgust. I'm having the same feeling as the Minnesota Vikings versus the New York Giants 41 donut. You're like, hey, we're cursed, whatever, right? As I'm walking out my room to go to the hallway, my girlfriend at the time, which is my wife now, she starts screaming. And she's like, ah, I'm like, what is she screaming about? Game's over. And I go back in the room and all I see is Diggs, doing his helmet thing. I'm like, oh my God. Oh my God. And that's disappointing because I didn't see it live. And it was just such a big moment. And it's just like, man, like I missed it, but yeah, that is one of my actually favorite and stuff like that. So
but I understand why you would be frustrated. I mean, I think they're winning 17-0 at halftime.
Exactly.
And they're kicking the bleep out of Sean Payton's team. I'm not a big Sean Payton fan for myriad reasons. Then Sean goes to mocking the Skol chant near the end of the game. I mean, looking at our crowd and doing the how's that feel, doing this thing. I didn't know that at the time. But after the game, when I saw it, I'm like, are you kidding me? I mean, seriously, who are you, man? And I know he's accomplished, but you just don't do things like that. But then Breeze went no huddle like 23 consecutive plays. We had a backup long snapper. Kevin McDermott got hurt. The long snapper was, I think, Jeff Overbaugh. He went to the wrong guy on a punt, and there's a punt block. So the whole thing was just terrible in a hurry. and we're going to lose.
Yeah.
We're not going to win the game. It's incredible after the domination of the first half. That's why I'm just, when Keenum hit Diggs in front of the Vikings bench, the Utah rookie safety, Marcus Williams, didn't know what to do, and he leapt too early. That's why I'm glad God put in my mind, in my heart, and in my mind, and subsequently could deliver it to the crowd. It's a 61-yard Minneapolis miracle, because it was at that moment a miracle that took place in Minneapolis, and it's probably the most exaltation I've ever felt after a sporting event in my life.
Yeah, like when I looked back at it back, I'm just like, oh my God. I just really felt after that win. I'm like, hey, we're
Well, you
going to
gave
the
up
Super
on it.
Bowl. We're going to the Super Bowl.
I hope that's the only miracle in your life you give up on.
No. Yeah. I just
Thank
gave
you.
up on it. It's as a Viking fan, like NFC title game, it was just like, here we go again. Here we go again.
But that wasn't the NFC title game.
Yeah,
that was the divisional round.
Yeah, the divisional round is like, here we go
then
again.
We went to Philly next week and we took a 7-0 lead on a Rudolph touchdown. And I'm like, all these bleep talking Eagles fans, I mean, because they're mean out there, man. Everybody sat down and shut up. They got nervous. Well,
yeah, we
then
have
they outscored us like 35-0.
Philly fans are probably some of the worst.
They're tough. But see, because of social media, David, all of that's getting hotter and meaner. And, people, they marry themselves to opinions in February, and then they just got to stick with them and get loud and get ugly and everything. And people don't see it their way. So, I mean, it's what you just said is with Philly fans is kind of analogous with a lot of sports fans these days.
Yeah, I tell my 17-year-old too, like, because she's growing up and she's starting to deal with life, differently from just from being a kid. And I always tell her, like, even if you disagree with someone, just try to listen, because sometimes the most uncomfortable conversations, you learn so much from them.
Preach.
And you come out of that conversation being a little bit better than what you were when you came into it. And I mean, she's getting it now. I mean, me being a little bit older, I wish I would have had that same, somebody telling me that. But yeah, I do get that. And I embrace it. I embrace the uncomfortable conversation sometimes. Like, I just want to learn. I just want to learn. Like,
there's a difference between uncomfortable conversations. Like, I feel this about McCarthy. You feel this. Let's watch the games and see who is right. As opposed to, you're a bleeping idiot.
Yes.
I told you he didn't throw enough in Michigan. You should have watched it there. You're stupid. Keep your takes over to whatever. People immediately go for the dagger.
Right. And that's just at that point, that's when you gotta like cut your losses and say, hey, you know what?
Yeah.
You can go over there, I can go over here. We're gonna disagree, but we're not gonna have this banter back and forth, And it's like you said, with sports fans and social media, it gets so amplified, especially like on X. It's crazy. Yeah. It's crazy sometimes, but me starting this whole podcast thing and doing content, I just have to understand.
When did you start?
I started actually about 3.5 years ago. I was on another podcast with a couple of other guys, Tony and Carson. RIP Tony. He passed away about a few months ago, and he was actually doing things with State of Skol. Was it 10 takes? And kind of with him passing, kind of like it had an effect on me. Like, he was always telling me, like, hey, you can be real good in this space, do a good job. Like, he was always like a mentor toward me. So I kind of like wanted to actually start taking it seriously and just be out there for him, because
maybe God put us together because, like, in a surrogate type way, maybe I'm the new Tony, and I'm not saying I'm going to like start some YouTube bit or whatever. And then we're going to co-host it, but just know that, it's just unique how I found you.
Right.
Because, like, I've done podcasts like this with Viking centric podcasts, and I've done a lot of some national stuff. I would much prefer to do something like this with somebody who has a vision, who has a dream, who has a family, and is trying to get something going. So if there's ever any way that I can help you, you got my phone number, you got my email, just tap on me whenever you want, man.
Much appreciated. I really much appreciate it, man.
But you got to come through with it, okay? Because
I will.
Like, if I offer something like that, which people do, and it's like say, you're in San Bernardino, so say somebody over in Corona that is having trouble, and you're like, hey, man, I'm here for you with whatever you need. They never call. They never text or email. I understand, but pride goes before the fall. And I just want you to know, man, that if you ever want to talk about anything or any roots to anything, if you want to use me on this pretty much anytime you want and get into my only social media platform, which is X, you let me know, man. I'll be here for you.
Will do. Will do. Thank you. Thank you. Much appreciated, Paul. Much appreciated,
Who do you like in the games this weekend?
man. I like Jacksonville. First off, I like Jacksonville a lot.
Keep talking. I'm gonna close this blind.
Okay, Jacksonville. I really want them to go over the hump because they haven't. I don't think Lawrence has won a playoff game yet, so I want to see that happen. Houston. I like Houston.
You like Houston?
Yeah.
Now you talked about, 40 minutes ago when we started this, we started talking about emotional takes with the Vikings and JJ McCarthy.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not, it's when Aaron Rodgers played for Green Bay, there were some things he did that bugged me. And of course he plays for the target at which to shoot in the division, generally the Green Bay Packers. So you want to beat him. Now that Adam Thielen, one of my better friends with the Vikings, has gone to Pittsburgh, I want Adam to win, man. I want him to go out in style. And watching Aaron Rodgers in that Baltimore game and then watching him recently, I mean, he's OG of all OGs.
Yeah.
And if you just protect him, he still throws about as good a back shoulder fade as you're going to see in the history of the NFL. So I think I'm being a little emotional with this and that I want Adam to win so badly, but Aaron is tied to Adam now. And I love CJ Stroud. I mean, CJ, yeah, he's one of the people for other teams with whom I'll pray before games with my sideline ministry game day. But so I just adore him, man. I really do. He's a genuine article. But I mean, it's just, I know A-Rod is old and I know CJ's inexperienced. So
Mm-hmm.
you got to take those two things and be like, how much experience can the old guy call on against Daniil, Will Anderson, and this fast defense compared to, hey, this guy still has a lot to learn, even though he's super gifted. He's on the road, they're loud, and he's going against a guy who's won a Super Bowl. It's a fascinating game. I give Pittsburgh a decent chance to win that game.
So I'm glad you brought up Adam Thielen. How did you feel about the situation? Like I was hoping that Adam Thielen would have been included, with the whole CJ Ham and Harris situation. Like
well, that's a good call.
I'm just like I understand what Thielen wants
about that.
Like, I'm not mad about it. Like I still love Thielen.
Yeah.
The crazy part about it is my jersey collection are receivers and cornerbacks, right? Chris Carter, Randy Moss, Adam Thielen, Stephon Diggs, Justin Jefferson, Jordan Addison. Like for some reason, I just it's always the tandem receivers. So I kind of felt like, man, I really wish Thielen was a part of this last game against the Packers.
Yeah.
He can get a proper send off, but I do get it. I do get why he wants to do what he wants to do.
I actually chatted a fair amount with Adam before the Seattle game. And then he left. I think it was after that game. And the way I put it to Adam, and I would not share this unless I'm treating it like Adam Thielen or his family are watching. Paul completely told the truth, and it's nothing that's like incriminating to anybody because my opinion was asked of me on that trip. And I told Adam, we went back to the Carolina, moved to Minnesota. And I said, honestly, in my heart, Christian to Christian, friend to friend, the way you laid that out for me, I thought it was a little selfish. Okay. It was a little I, not thy, how you kind of got out of Carolina. Now, so you come here and Addison's gone and then Addison comes back and, Naylor's good and he's fast. Well, now all of a sudden Adam's not playing. So, to request to go to somebody who has a chance to win a Super Bowl, I don't think that's selfish. I think it's somebody who's given a lot to the NFL for many, many years being like, you guys aren't using me here. It's almost like, do you mind if I go say here, here, here? And he did. So did it ruin? It didn't ruin the end of the season festivities with 22 and 30. Would have been nice to have 19 part of it. I didn't think about that. Very good point. But to see the joy on Adam's face, after the rookie missed that kick. And I'm sorry for the rookie, he missed that kick, but that's just how the game goes. To see the joy on Adam's face as he ran out on the field holding his helmet, hey, I mean, that was A+. So I love Adam Thielen. I love his family. And I really hope they do well in the postseason.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, Adam's going to always be one of my favorite guys, especially like his road to becoming a star in this league. You know, I tell people who's playing football and any kind of sport, like, look at how Adam Thielen went his route, like, you know,
yeah,
drafted. And
Marcus Sherrills.
Yeah, Marcus Sherrills, right? Like,
remember him?
Yeah, best punt returner in the game that when we had him.
Bro, we haven't had a punt return touchdown since 2016 against Houston at US Bank Stadium. Marcus Sherrills. I mean, man, Marcus is the bomb. I love him. But man, that's our last punt return touchdown.
Yeah. That's not good.
Don't walk out of the room and give up on it and have your wife
I'm not
screaming in the other room because some miracle took place.
Yeah,
okay?
I'm not. But yeah, with Adam, you know, it's just tell people like, hey, just keep working at it, be consistent at it. You know, sometimes it's not going to work out like the first time, but you keep going. And look at this guy.
Amen.
You know, he still playing. You know, he's still out there. You know, wish him the best.
And the NFL is the spot that works. But you know, where you can be under it now. I mean, Adam and Marcus, and I'm sure you know this, but for those who don't, Adam and Marcus were not even invited to rookie camp. Wow. Okay, so they had to try out against a bunch of people to make it to rookie camp, to make it to the next step. And you talk about being consistent, listening, and I mean, you got to be gifted to do it, and they both were. But I mean, the journeys they took were unbelievable. But in football, you can do that undrafted, you know, and like Ivan Pace Jr., you know, he was undrafted out of Cincinnati. Well, you know, it's Ivan. They stopped using him on defense near the end of the year. So why is that? Is it because Ivan's bad? No, it's because Eric Wilson played out of his skin. I mean, that move for Eric Wilson for $2.6 million by Kwesi, I mean, that was just a phenomenal free agency move. And yeah, I know, you know, like the kids would say, don't at David, don't at me. Yeah, I know draft picks need to be a little better around here, and hopefully they will this year.
Yeah, we know that. Yeah.
Finding Ivan Pace Jr., man, and getting out of him what you could get out of him. Undrafted, Thielen, Sherrills, undrafted, John Randall, the greatest undrafted player in the history of the NFL. It happens in the NFL.
Yeah. You just have to stay with it. You just have to stay with it. So with the playoffs games, how do you feel about the Rams game?
Interesting you asked that because somebody asked me that earlier today, and I'm not going to grandstand in a way where I'm like, Carolina beat them earlier, 10-point underdogs, they're at home, and they're going to beat them again. I can't say they're going to beat them again. What I can say is in reading up on the Rams now, because sadly I have a lot of extra time to read up on other teams. The Rams, it's taken them a while to get going. You know, now they're going to get Devontae back, and that helps a lot. Devontae Adams is one of the great route runners in the history of the NFL, and he's still really good. So that probably will change this. They're slow starters. I think Carolina is going to give them a handful until some part of the third quarter. Then I think whatever's going to raise to the surface, and I think LA will win that game. You know, the Packers Bears game, not just because we're in NFC North country. I mean, it's such an intriguing game, man.
Yeah.
I mean, look at Ben Johnson. Not only did he elevate that team from last to first, the way Caleb Williams plays compared to the way he played last year because he got sacked a million times. I mean, yeah, you got my applause for that. But he ruined the Lions. I mean, the coordinator to replace him got fired already. So, I mean, think about it. He ruined another team in the division simply by leaving. They finished last. So I got a lot of respect for Ben Johnson and that group. But, you know, I don't know if you know this or not, but when the Vikings went to play the Giants this year, we had some charter plane mechanical problems. So we were on buses or planes for 10 and a half hours just waiting for the right plane to get to Minneapolis to get to New Jersey. So we had a lot of time, and I wasn't able to watch Green Bay, Chicago that night as closely as I wanted to. because we had it all planned. Let's get to New Jersey. Let's find a place to eat. Let's find a place to watch this cool game. Go to bed. Play Jackson Dart the next day. Boom. So I didn't get a chance to watch the game closely. So after I played catch up on it this week, I can't believe Green Bay didn't win the game. I mean, they were about a 95% winner with like 2 or 3 minutes left. You got Josh Jacobs dropping the ball inside the 5. You have a face mask penalty that was a legit penalty, but it was just dumb. It wasn't needed. And Romeo Doubs acted like he'd never seen an onside kick in his life. I mean, those 3 things had to go against Green Bay to lose it in overtime. So I like Green Bay a fair amount in this game. What about you?
Yeah, I like Chicago.
Yeah, I understand. It's 50-50 game.
Yeah, I like Chicago. I mean, Green Bay, I do like Love and Jacobs and Matt LaFleur and all those guys, but I just think that, just to go back to what you said about the job that Ben Johnson has done this year, you know, I mean, in my opinion, he's coach of the year to come in and do that with Caleb, because it's just crazy. Like, the narrative around Caleb this time last year was like, oh, he can't really play. Now, I've always saw that in Caleb, like, hey, this kid has something. Yeah. And, you know, it's just, you just need the proper people around you to bring that out. And I want to see the Bears. I want to see the Bears succeed. Like, I not win the Super Bowl, because I don't want nobody in our division to win Super Bowl before we win. I got it. But I just, like, for Caleb and Ben Johnson, like, that's what I'm going with there, you know.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised at all. But you said something a little while ago about your daughter, your 17-year-old daughter, and conflict. And it's like, you know, you teach her, whatever her name is, that, you know, I don't know, sometimes if you think you're 75% right, but you know some of it in there is confusing, apologize. Have that vulnerability to neutralize it, to just kind of stop it. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And learn from situations like that. Well, that's perfectly stated when you think about Ben Johnson and Caleb Williams, because, I mean, you're in Southern California, so you watch more Caleb than me, but at USC, he never went under center. Okay, well, now Ben has to have him go under center to do the play action. Detroit, in Ben's final year, ran the most play action plays and passes of anybody in the NFL. Okay, that's important to Ben. But Caleb, getting him under center, he just wasn't used to it. It took time. And they finally got around to it. Now he does it pretty well, if not very well. But Ben and Caleb, they butted heads, man. And maybe they still do. But when I saw Caleb Williams, when I saw Caleb walk into Levi Stadium before that Monday night game against the Niners, when I saw him come into that game with I can't remember the name of the school. It's in Asheville, North Carolina. He had a Ben Johnson high school football jersey that he walked in, like how they get off the bus and the cameras are there. He's got a 12 from Ben Johnson's high school that Ben wore when he played in high school. That's kind of a solidification of showing, I love this guy. Mm-hmm. And you know what? We got a father-son thing. We got an uncle-nephew, cousin, however you want to look at it. And we butt heads, but we love each other. And that's going to go a long way.
Yeah, it's going a long way. Like, especially like when you have a relationship between head coach and quarterback. And even though, like you said, like, even though they're bumping heads, they're actually learning and actually getting better. Like, the Caleb we seen on week 1 is different from the Caleb we see, you know, going to the first on his wild card game. So, yeah, that's what I got. You know, Chicago. Sorry, Packer fans, I'm not picking you guys. I'm not.
I don't. I mean, it's not. I mean, I don't bet, but like if I was, it's not like I put the whole thing, the whole proverbial farm on Green Bay. It just I didn't realize until I looked at it recently. I mean, Green Bay dominated the bleep out of that game. So if they do that again, and Michael Parsons didn't play either, but you know what? Rome Odunze didn't play either. Man, Rome Odunze is the bomb. So that game's phenomenal. Just the playoff games this weekend are fantastic.
Yeah, I'm going to be watching a lot of football this weekend.
Me too.
I can't wait. Like, I'm going to be glued to the TV. I actually have a 3-year-old daughter. She's learning things right now, and she's getting into, like, me watching, you know, football. And we have a ritual, like, every time the Vikings play, especially at 10 o'clock our time, we got to have omelets and we got to have biscuits. We got to have everything. That's our ritual. Every time we have that, like, we think that that helps them win the game. So
Yeah. Yeah.
you
Does
know,
she does she have like a little Vikings jersey or something that she
she
wears?
she has a Vikings backpack and like a couple of Vikings shirts, and like every
Like
time we
football
go,
games become Dora the Explorer, and
yeah,
every other team was Swiper. Hey, Swiper, stop swiping our victories.
yeah, it's like every time we want to go somewhere, she's like, I my Vikings backpack. We're like, no, 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 no. That's for special occasions, but yeah,
Yeah.
that's
I
how we
love
go.
that, man. You're a good dad.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. I mean, my oldest daughter, she's more of a Raider fan, so I mean,
Mhm.
that's
Well, may
because of
God be with her.
yeah, that's because my dad's a big Raider fan, so she
Yep.
kind of took after him. But
Even
yeah,
in Las Vegas?
even in Las Vegas,
Wow.
even my
Yeah,
Las
because
Vegas,
when I lived in Southern California, right after I wrote for the Pasadena Star News and the San Gabriel Valley Tribune. And at that time, the Raiders played at the Coliseum. And, I mean, it's like it's the Rams played in Anaheim. I'm
hmm
from Washington, D.C., so I was a Redskins fan. And through a divorce with my mom's divorce, I moved to Southern California. I didn't really have a team, so like I would watch them from afar, but I got a chance to go to a couple of Raiders games at the Coliseum. Whew. I mean, we just talked about Philly fans a little while ago.
yeah,
I mean, you better be careful in that crowd right there. Near the campus of USC, near South
mhm,
Central.
yep.
I mean, it got nasty in those stands, man.
That's where I grew up at. I'm originally from LA. Like, our house was probably, I would say, a few miles from SC's campus.
Yeah.
So, you
What,
know,
like by Florence or Slauson?
I grew up off of Vermont
Yeah.
and Century. So Figueroa is the street like
Amen.
right behind us, and
Yeah.
Figueroa is the biggest street in LA. It takes you all the way,
Yeah.
all the way down to downtown. So
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna date myself here a little bit. Um, in 1989 to 93, when I wrote for newspapers, part of my job was covering horse racing. Okay, thoroughbred racing, think Kentucky Derby, and Hollywood Park
Will Park.
in Inglewood, right next to the Forum. I mean, that was my work spot 5 days a week for
Mhm.
like 6 months out of the year. Well, so it's the place where SoFi Stadium is
Highest
now.
now. Yeah.
And so therefore, I know those roads. I know Vermont, Slauson, Florence, Manchester,
Mhm.
and the best ways to get to what was Hollywood Park at that time. One of my favorite restaurants, Roscoe's Chicken and
Chicken and
Waffles,
waffles.
right, was located right off Manchester. So that would be the place I would either stop before work or after work. But they've done such a, because we were there last year for the Chargers, but then the Thursday night the year before when Darnold had the face mask and your guy Trey Blake and his staff missed it. So I've been there several times now. Man, they've pumped a lot of money into that part of Inglewood.
Yes,
Holy
they have.
cow. It's
Yes,
not
they have.
nearly what I remember, like Sunday nights on Crenshaw Boulevard. I mean, that with the nice cars and the cool people and KJLH and stuff like that. I
Mhm,
mean, a lot of my friends and myself, we would find ourselves there, and that still takes place, but it's just different and cleaner and safer. And
mhm.
man, they've done a really good job with that part of Inglewood.
That's crazy, Paul. You're referencing my whole childhood.
Well, you
Like
didn't think I was going to hit you with KJLH, did you?
AJLH, yeah. Like I used to when I was a kid, we had an apartment with my parents, and it was off of Kelso, and Kelso's a street that's right there by the Great Western Forum. So
Yeah.
like when you said Hollywood Park, like
Yeah.
the Hollywood Park back in the day,
Mm.
like off of Manchester Century, like that's
Ah,
my whole area. That's where I grew up at.
yeah,
Only
and
reason
that
why,
that street Kelso was named after a super famous horse that ran at Hollywood Park,
oh
named
wow, I never
Kelso.
knew
Yeah,
that.
they got some streets around there named after. I don't know if you have like Affirmed or Seabiscuit or Secretariat or whatever, but
Mhm.
I do remember Kelso.
Yeah, we stayed in an apartment off of
Yeah,
Kelso. That's crazy. You know
I
all that.
loved it, man. I was there all the time. That yeah, I there are a lot of facets of Southern California I don't really want anything to do with anymore. The 405, even back in the 80s and 90s, was bumper to bumper, man, all the time from the valley all the way down past Santa Monica. But there's so much charm to that part of the country, man, and Newport Beach and Huntington and Balboa and Long Beach and even Rehoboth and or not Rehoboth, Redondo, places like
Redondo.
that, man. It's such a gem.
Yeah, yeah. I miss being home sometimes. I keep telling my wife like I need to go home a little bit more. My dad's still there, so when we visit. But
Yeah,
yeah, it's like you said that they pumped a lot of money into that area where the stadium is at, and they've
blew me
been
away.
they've been planning it for years. I remember when they first like took a lot of things apart and they started the businesses up there, and then they announced the stadium. It's like no more Hollywood Park, but I guess they got SoFi now, you know. So
Right.
it's amazing how things just change.
Like Roscoe's Chicken and Waffles was a standalone store when I worked there. Well, now it's a chain. I mean, they're all over the place, and that's cool. I mean, I still like it, but the chicken and waffles, like I grew up on in Washington D.C., it's different now that it's a chain, and I still like it. I went there last time. They've kind of reduced their menu a little bit, but that just, man, that when we talk about, when you bring up Vermont and Florence and things like that, Figueroa, I mean that that brings up vivid memories for me.
Wow, Paul, I did not know you were very familiar with LA like that. That's great. That is great. That is great, man.
Right on.
So before we get out of here, Paul, you got anything else you want to say to the fans? I mean, some people have been asking to ask you a comment, but they didn't.
Sure. You got any questions? I can answer them.
Yeah, anybody in the chat, if you have a question for Paul to ask real quick, just send it and he'll ask it. So hopefully you guys can bring that real quick.
Yeah, you're much better with stuff like this than me. I wouldn't know where to find the chat, but I mean, if I can find them and see them, then yeah, I got a few more minutes to answer some questions. But I mean, I think you hit on I mean, with McCarthy and Flores and drafting better.
Yes.
Well, those three right there. I mean, it's those are big. You can get to the next level, like Eric Wilson. What's next for him? He ain't going to make 2.6 million this year. So hopefully he's back. Jalen Naylor, what's next for him? He's unrestricted. I think because he's so fast and he continues to ascend, I think somebody's going to offer him a lot of money. Not sure he's going to be back. Did you draft Ty Felton to replace Jalen Naylor? If you did, he didn't get a lot of experience, but it doesn't mean that he can't do it. After that, I just really would like to see them get Van Ginkel and Jonathan Grenard like 2024. I mean, those guys were unbelievable. I knew who Jonathan Grenard and Andrew Van Ginkel were from Houston to Miami, but I mean, I never like followed them closely or anything. Jeez. I mean, from the moment Van Ginkel jumped Daniel Jones' route in the first game and got that touchdown, and Grenard blows up running plays as well as any edge that I've seen here or I've seen in a lot of places. I love those guys. And, Jonathan finished the season on the IR. Andrew missed some games early in the season. Keep those two guys on the field, figure out the safety situation, probably minus 22. And I mean, I'm already getting myself a little excited for 2026.
Okay. So we got one question from East Coast Gridiron. I just put it up. He said, what's your most satisfying Viking win you ever witnessed?
It hasn't happened.
I know
the only way to answer it. It hasn't happened.
Okay.
Because that would be winning the Super Bowl. But since East Coast Gridiron was nice enough to write, I think it was the Minneapolis Miracle game, especially after I heard about the other coach mocking the Skol champ. And plus back to 2009, New Orleans cheating with the Bounty Gate and everything, and then you get a chance to bounce them out of the playoffs. That was pretty satisfying.
Yeah, that was for me too. So we got one question. I know you probably been hearing this. This one is from Barber.
Why should he give up play calling?
Yeah, we said give up play calling. So
yeah, I mean, Barber fade up. See, it's like at KFAM when I'm doing the 9 to noon show, we do these things now called talkbacks, where people go to the iHeart audio app and they got 30 seconds to formulate an opinion. I don't mind that, but the problem is if I disagree with the opinion, they can't come back. You know what I mean? They can't like restate it or come back respectfully and go back and forth with byplay. So, like I said, why should he give it up? He's the reigning coach of the year. He was working with a 22-year-old quarterback this year where, when you go through 23, 24, 25 offensive line combinations and you got guys leaving during games, that makes it really, really difficult. O'Connell is from the McVay tree. Everybody in the National Football League knows he's one of the most cold-blooded play callers there are. Does there need to be improvement? Sure. And I think Kevin would tell you that too. I don't exactly know where, but no, Kevin O'Connell giving up play calling, that's with all due respect to the Barber. I'm a fade down on that one. because Kevin's really good at what he does.
Okay, and the thing about the play calling too, it's like I've I've been there too, like, oh my God, being emotional in the
Yeah.
moment. But like when you have to like dissect it and really get deep with the nuance situation, you can't be so recency biased with the situation of like you're mad because it didn't work out. Like
Yeah. But see, you got to think of everything that goes into it.
that goes into
Like,
it.
like if you're going to be the play caller, then what are you doing on a Monday to get ready for a Sunday? What are you doing for it? Changes so many things, but that's fine. Change is fine. Second part would be, okay, well, then who do you want to call the plays and why? I need a why with it. I don't just need a name. I need a why. And I'm with you. I mean, there were times this year where the team was inside the 15 or the 10 and it was second or third and short. And we threw and we threw and we threw, and I didn't understand it. But it's there's so much that goes into it. But for Kevin O'Connell, either on my radio show or in press conferences, to say that he's going to look in the mirror and find ways that he can improve, well, that right there should be satisfying enough to the fan base where they're like, I mean, Kevin cares. He cares deeply. So he knows when he does things that, like, there were a couple of plays late in the season. One was when Brosmer did the sidearm bit to Ernest Jones the fourth, and then another one later after that where he's kind of like, I hate the play calls. I should not have called those plays.
Mhm.
I blew it. And that needs to be better. So he knows, but nah, man, is you make Kevin O'Connell available as a play caller to every team in the NFL right now, they'll line up for him.
Phone. So here's another one. Some of the questions were kind of similar, so we're gonna try to get another one, probably the
Yeah, this
last
is
one.
cool.
Yeah, this one says, "Who do you think the Vikings should have a backup as a backup QB for McCarthy?" This is a big question.
Yeah, it is, and I get it a fair amount at K-Fan. I'm not necessarily prepared to answer that right now, and I don't want to take the gray area out for what do we have here, Aiden Chris or whomever else. I don't want to take, I don't want to be gray area guy, but I'm also not going to be loud podcasting guy where I feel like I got to have the right answer in January for something that's going to take place in late July, early August with training camp. Um, this may not be popular, but what was wrong with Carson Wentz when he was healthy? I mean, what was wrong with Nick Mullins before he left? Now, Nick would like that Josh Dobbs year and then Jaron Hall and then Mullins came in like at Cincinnati. And I look at Bursich, the analyst, after like our first or second break, and I'm like, wow, look, Jefferson's being thrown open. This is happening. This is happening. Middle of the field's back in play. So, like, Carson knows how to play the game the way Kevin wants it, like Mullins did, who went to Jacksonville. Um, so Wentz would be on my radar because he knows the playbook and he's going to be healthy. Um, some things are taking place in Atlanta right now with Kirk Cousins' contract, where Atlanta may have a way out. They're going to have to pay a fair amount if he leaves, but whichever team gets him won't have to pay that much. But I can't say it would happen here because that means you got to tell Kirk. Unless they tell Kirk, we're not using McCarthy as the starter. You come into training camp favored as the starter. Yeah, I mean, I just don't see that happening. But Cousins finished nicely, and he knows this thing inside and out. So there's another low hanging fruit name. I was going to save this for next week on my radio show and start deep diving it. I haven't really gone down the road on it a lot yet, but I'll share a name with you that kind of blew me away this year. Marcus Mariota.
Hmm.
And I couldn't believe when Jaden went down how good Mariota was. And, we saw him a little bit at US Bank Stadium. He wasn't great. And I know, I mean, I can see your face and I can just feel everybody right now like, oh, okay. All right. I understand that. Mariota missed a few years due to injury.
Mhm.
So he doesn't have as much tread off the tire as people would think. That man runs like the wind. Okay. I had no idea he ran the way he did, after Oregon or wherever it was, Oregon. Mariota played better than Jaden Daniels this year. That's the end of the story. Now, would I rather have him than Jaden Daniels? No. 10 out of 10. I want Jaden Daniels. But Mariota really, really has some good moments this year without Terry McLaurin, without Debo being in and out and stuff. So I got to do a little research on Marcus Mariota, who I know is going to be a free agent. Plus, he's a super kind guy, very smart. He would come in not wanting to usurp the top spot. If he gets it, great. So I don't know. I'm moderately interested in him. You got any names?
I like Mariota. Mariota, what he's did this year was pretty cool. Um, there's another guy like Trey Lance. He might be available. Um, I wouldn't mind Wentz coming back too because of him being already in the system 1 year and going through it. Like he would be a lot better because people have to understand Wentz didn't sign to like late in the offseason before we actually started playing games.
Amen.
So, like that was a big deal.
That matters.
It matters a lot. You
Yes.
didn't go through a whole training camp. And I just think like the one thing with me when it's the backup quarterback, I just will want a backup quarterback that's going to be here for multiple seasons. I like to talk about Ben Johnson in Chicago. I like what they did, with their backup quarterback. They basically have him in place, for years to come. They don't have to worry about that position, for a couple of years. And I think like in football, especially when we talk about, we already had a 17 game season. We're probably going to go to 18 games. Like quarterback is the biggest position in the NFL, and you need to have a backup to actually play a couple of games if you're starting down. So the names, I believe the coaching staff could get these guys, up to speed. I just would want them to be here for more than two seasons, not just on a 1 year deal. So that way we have some stability behind McCarthy.
Well, I know Max Brosmer didn't generate a touchdown. All right. And it wasn't great. And again, I'm being kind of emotional with this because I really like Max and I want to see things go well for him. But, he's another year older with another off season and that nice arm. It was interesting to me with O'Connell when on my radio show after the Seattle game, like McCarthy might have seen things a beat or two too slowly at times, and they had to get that going the other way. O'Connell said Brosmer actually saw it a beat or two too quickly, so they had to pull him back a little bit. I'm not saying that's the answer, but I'm not throwing him out of the equation.
Yeah, he should be back. He's still young. Just like we said, you can't give up on these guys, their first time playing just because they're young. One thing you said about with Andrew Van Ginkel and Jonathan Grenard, do you see like a way the Vikings can get maybe Gink, Grenard, and Turner on the field at the same time to be most effective?
Yes, but I think the answer would have to be Eric Wilson leaving. So maybe Dallas plays him inside. Okay. Now, I don't really, I'm not saying Dallas can't do it. And the way he jumped out of his skin off the edge this year, that seems to be the spot. But Van Ginkel and Grenard are better than Dallas Turner. And they're better in the pass coverage game and against the run. So I don't know how to do it. But I just really hope Eric Wilson comes back. If he doesn't, you're going to need an inside linebacker to play a lot. Maybe Dallas can do some of that. But when Van Ginkel and Grenard are going great guns, holy cow. I mean, those guys are fantastic.
Yeah, I had that same idea too with moving Dallas to the inside. I'm just not sure if, the ability to have them to drop back in coverage and stuff like that. But I mean, you never know. I mean, if we're talking,
I think he can do that. Yeah, I think eventually he can get his back pedal and his drop, and sell it better to try to suck somebody into something dumb. It's the contact. Okay, so let's use this example. All right, Brian Asamoah, remember him?
Yes.
Okay, so they draft Asamoah. He's an inside linebacker from Oklahoma. Inside linebackers who play big time football for the Sooners, well, they're supposed to crave contact. With all due respect to Asamoah, I don't think he liked contact. I mean, they couldn't use him because the charging like Cashman and Wilson do and Ivan Pace Jr. can do. There's part of that role when you got 2 or 3 linebackers out there where one person is in essence the sacrificial player. All right, here comes David. He's going to try to bust up here to open something for, say, Saquon. All right, Ivan, you need to take the L here. Eric, you need to be the sacrificial one and blow that guy up so Hargrave, Allen, or somebody can come through, and that's part of that job, man. And it can beat somebody's body down.
Okay, cool. So we got the last question in the chat. I was hoping someone would ask a draft question. So basically, how do you feel about Caleb Downs in the draft, and who do you think?
Okay,
to go in the
Well,
draft.
here's the deal. I'm just going to be straight with you. I don't watch a lot of college football. I just don't have time. With the church stuff that I do over the weekend and Vikings travel and getting ready for Sunday games and stuff. This may sound embarrassing. I don't know who Caleb Down is. Is it Down or Downs?
Downs. Yeah.
I don't know who he is. Now, when I get to the combine in Indianapolis, hey, turn
Yeah.
on 9 to noon. You sound like I'm his agent. When we get up to the draft, hey, I've talked to a few people. Yeah. But I don't really, from a player standpoint at this stage of the equation, I don't really know who anybody is. Philosophically speaking, they have a lot of picks and they have 4 or 5 in the top 100.
Mm-hmm.
You just got to go boom. You just got to go boom and hit on some that can help right now. You're going to need a third receiver. Okay. I'm not trying to run Jalen Naylor out the door, but Jalen's put enough on tape, and this team is, maybe a little salary cap strap right now. I think Jalen's put enough on tape to get a relatively big deal from somebody else. I hope it doesn't happen, but if it does, you need a third receiver. Well, that's, I think you do. Jay Sean Jones, he might get a shot. You got Ty Felton. Okay, so those guys are part of the mix. Defensive tackles. I like how Jonathan Allen finished, but he's getting up there in years. Javon Hargrave did not have the season this year I thought he would have. Don't exactly know why. Jalen Redmond, you got to pay him.
Yes.
Excellent move with Jalen Redmond, but you can never have enough inside guys on defense. So that's part of it. So you just got to hit on some of these picks. Caleb Downs, who is he? For whom does he play? And is he good?
He's the safety for Ohio State.
Okay.
So that's pretty much why people are saying, Caleb,
I got it.
The Vikings.
Well, I'm not, and I'm probably talking myself into a coffin right now. I'm not huge on taking safety super high in the draft because I think you can see in the NFL with the way Josh Metellus is used, the way teams use certain players. The Rams do it really well. Is you can take bigger corners and play them as like a hybrid safety.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if you had hit on Kyle Hamilton in that first draft for the new regime, he's probably the best safety in the National Football League. So that's a difference maker. But look where they use him now. They play him kind of like a linebacker,
Exactly. I really thought that was the pick because Kyle Hamilton, Notre Dame, Harrison Smith, Notre Dame, he can usher him into the NFL. He can be his mentor. I was like, oh, they're not trading that. That's Hamilton.
Yeah, but see, with safeties also, David, if safeties are very important to what Brian Flores does, very important. That's why Blake Cashman is what's known as the green dot. Play comes into him. But like Harrison Smith is the one to get the secondary guy squared away. And that whole Harrison up to the line, wait, then retreat or charge. Ooh, I mean, that messed up Dak Prescott so badly that he was probably staring at a ceiling fan, just laying there going like, because he had no idea what was coming. It got Jared Goff too. Think about who we just said, Dak Prescott and Jared Goff. Well, that's a safety generating a lot of that. So, yeah, I'm all about having really good safeties on this team. But if Brian Flores isn't the coordinator, are they going to be as important as they are now? We'll see.
You don't know. A lot of things have to pan out before you actually get to draft season. I mean, it's gonna be a great offseason for me. Like,
excellent. Can't wait.
I can't wait. I can't wait. And I just got one person. This is my wife in here. She just said she respects your honesty. Thank you for tuning in. You should be at work. But
yeah,
that was all.
You tell Miss Erica that if David ever tries to leave the room in a close Minnesota Vikings game, remind him of that Minneapolis Miracle moment, and also let him know that makes him a bandwagon jumper.
Oh, no.
Right, you jumped off the bandwagon. And like I said earlier, and the Christian in me has to remind you of this, I really, truly hope it's the only miracle you miss in your life. Okay. Please.
Thank you. Much appreciated. But
God bless you, man.
That's all we got, Paul. I mean,
you're awesome.
Just like I said before, man, I really appreciate it. You reached out and we talked on Twitter and we set this up. It's been some couple of weeks in the making, but Thank you. Really appreciate it. Hopefully, I probably will. I know I will be in Minnesota probably the first game of the season. If not, but thank you so much. I
Yeah,
really
right on, man. And hit me up again during the playoffs, maybe around the conference championship games, or maybe after that up to the Super Bowl. We'll do it again. All right. Because by that time, head coaching spots
yeah.
should be filled. I mean, we should certainly hope we got, some clarity on what's up with the defensive coordinator. But I think, there are going to be a fair amount of things that happen within the next 2-3 weeks. So text me again. We'll do it again. That was fantastic, man. Great football conversation.
Thank you. Appreciate it. We're out of here, guys.